everybody. Welcome back. This is Luca, Majno. Welcome back to Global News Update on TLBTV, brought to you by the Liberty Beacon Project. And we're here with Frank Gregory Ford as a special guest, where we give you complete backstage, up-to-date info on the developments occurring in the world today. So we have quite a bit to talk about, as we always do. Greg, what's new? And thanks for joining us again.
Yes. Okay. All kinds of things are going on, that the American people need to know about, since we can't count on our government to tell us, when they're going to launch a new terrorist attack on us. That's the U.S. government. Okay. And it is coming like an express train right now in terms of the evidence that they're finding out about 9/11. I would like to know if there was any terrorists at all on those planes. It is getting to be so grim what's coming out. And I just spent the early morning answering questions about Phil Marshall, okay, for another show. And then I got a call from Canada, and they are convinced that we've gone completely nuts and crazy in the United States.
Right.
Okay. The biggest thing is everybody wants to know, why isn't Hillary, and this is Canada, our neighbors to the north, right? Hey, where they're all named Frenchie, and the main pastime is logging in the Great North Woods, okay? Right. And even as a boy, I loved watching Sergeant Preston and Yukon King, okay? Well, they are convinced that we are completely out of control, nuts, because Hillary Clinton is not in prison. I mean, I don't mean in jail. I don't mean at a club fed, okay, where they have 18-hole golf courses for the prison. Okay, nothing like that. No, in a real prison like Leavenworth, all right? Yes, Hillary Clinton, okay? Yes, she's running her pedophile ring, okay? They know that. They know that, okay? Orgy Island, oh yes, she's been working with the Israelis to make sure that several top world leaders have been compromised, okay? Yes, and let me see. Oh, yeah, what is her name? Huma Wiener? Yeah. Okay. Yes, it turns out that is her mouthpiece and communication line for funding, financing, and equipping, what is it? ISIS?
I knew it.
ISIS, all these new terrorist groups, that our government comes up with, to keep us distracted. What that means is redirection. Remember on your show, I always said, hey, whenever you hear something, look exactly 180. You'll find out what's going on.
Right.
Okay. It's redirection. Okay. Yes. And it looks like, oh yes, ISIS is being defeated. Oh really? Okay. Find out. If you want to find out where it's going to happen next, check Hillary's bank account, where she got her last payment from. Okay. What is it? The Clinton Pay for Play Foundation. Okay. Check to see where they got their last payment from. Okay. So yeah, we have that. It's all going on. Canada wants to know, our great neighbor to the north, why she is not making license plates at the federal penitentiary.
Well,
okay?
You know what, Greg? Can I be honest here? Like we like to be honest on the show. There's something in Canada called MMIW, Missing and Murdered Indigenous Women, right? Now, how come that's not resolved yet? And I got the answer, because everybody's complicit, including the prime ministers, including ex-prime ministers, including judges, lawyers, taxi cabs, police. They're all in collusion. So I'm trying to figure out how Canada seems to think it's that much better than the United States, and they're so amazed. This MMIW stuff, it hasn't gone away because nobody's taking care of it. Because the foundation is too dangerous, because if you crack the foundation, then the whole house of cards comes down, right up to the judges, right up to the top authorities. So They're no better.
You know, these folks in Canada, actually, that was up in British Columbia, where they call from. They wanted to know what this, what is Arkancide. Do you know what Arkancide is? You think any of your listeners know what Arkancide is? It has become a adjective, an adverb in the American lexicon. Okay, what that means is how people get murdered that somehow get the attention of the Clintons in Arkansas. Get it?
Wow.
Arkancided.
Right.
Okay. What basically what its description is when you're shot in the head 3 times from behind, you somehow manage to cut your own head off. Okay,
Hmm.
and then you set yourself on fire while sitting in your own car in the middle of an intersection. Okay, let please have your listeners call in and tell me how full of it I am if they think that's not a good description of being Arkancided. Okay, well, yes, it always seems to be they have one thing in common, and that is something to do with Clintons. Okay, they're going to testify against them like within 24 hours.
Right.
They knew about a pedophile ring that they were involved in. They knew about a weapons dealing deal that they were involved in. Somehow, some sort of connection with Mena Airport. Okay, in Mena, Arkansas. By the way, the drug running capital of the United States. Okay,
Yeah.
you name it, it goes on and on and on and on and on. Yes, Hillary Clinton is a psychopath. Is there anybody in America that doesn't think she's not a certified psychopath? Okay. She just set up to have her husband murdered. Okay. Yes, when you set somebody up to have AIDS and give them AIDS, you are murdering them. Okay. Yes, she did that. She sat there and watched the whole thing with what was it, an 8-year-old boy? Okay. All right. A young male that her husband actually raped, and it was known that he wasn't HIV, he's full blown AIDS. Okay.
Mm.
Yes, Hillary set that whole thing up. Okay. It's called the ring. All right. She has been running the ring for a long time. Look at her connections in Belgium. Okay. I mean, let's face it. Belgium is the child molestation capital of the world. That's where all this stuff comes from. Check out her connections with John Negroponte, Nick Negroponte.
Mm.
All right. Funny. There's those CIA connections again and death squads.
Right. Project
Gosh.
Pegasus.
Gee,
Project Pegasus, right?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Project Pegasus. Andrew McCabe. Have you ever heard that name? Most people listening to the show have not heard that name. All right, that's an exception. But yes, he is responsible for getting the $28 million for Hillary to make her run. Okay. No, she wasn't supposed to lose, but funny thing. Now, I heard a rumor, just like within the last few minutes, that she is supposed to be under indictment now. The Congress is moving to indict her. Oh, yeah, right. I got a bridge in Brooklyn to sell you too, pal. Okay. I was just looking at that issue about concerning the General Stubblebine. He was the general in charge of all intelligence on 9/11 in the United States. Funny thing, he smelled a rat too. Okay, he went in with his own investigative team to check out the strike on the Pentagon. Funny thing, things didn't add up. Almost immediately, things started, looking really shady, really crusty. Okay, so what we have here now, okay, is, and by the way, you're going to hear, your listeners can hear me on the Susan Landauer show too on Sunday. All right.
Good for you.
That should be a great show for everybody.
Good for you.
Okay. So what we have now, okay, the jump ahead is we've got a lunatic, and I'll call her a lunatic quite confidently. Remember, I was renditioned and tortured, okay, and they called me a lunatic because I said we were torturing people in Abu Ghraib, okay? Well, guess who has a vested interest in copper green? Hillary Clinton. What does anybody think that I didn't file those charges on? Okay, in Iraq to try to stop copper green. I am pinched on what is it? The millions of dollars every month that Hillary Clinton now makes. Okay, if it isn't gun running, weapons running, drug running, pedophilia rings, control. Got to keep everybody under control.
Human trafficking.
We have this. Okay, so anyway, yes, absolutely. This looks pretty damn dangerous. Okay, Phil Marshall. Everyone's heard me talk about Phil Marshall. All of a sudden, just this morning, groundswell. Hey, didn't Phil Marshall talk about all of this? Didn't he talk about Mr. Mueller? Okay, has anybody realized now that we've got the #1 lapdog for the Bush crime family running the investigation on Trump? Does anybody find that unusual? Okay, I can guarantee you he's going to find something. Okay, he's going to find out that the Russians are way too smart to get caught up in something like this. Robbie Mook, John Podesta set up the Russians as a way of getting back within 2 hours. 2 hours after Hillary Clinton got the boot. Okay, let's face it. Somebody had their head screwed on right. Okay, to make sure that she did not get elected president. Okay, but you can't tell her that. All right, but yes, I think we need to talk to a few people. The American people need to see open Senate hearings on Mr. John Podesta. Okay, he and his pedophile ring. All right, we need to see Mr. Jeffrey Epstein. Oh, and find out about all those connections with Mr. Silverstein. Okay, Mr. Silverstein and Benjamin Netanyahu. Okay, all right. I really think the American people have all this coming, and let's face it. Okay, we're not gonna make it, folks. We're not gonna make it another 3.5 years with this buffoonery. I agree with the Canadians. With this buffoonery that's going on, how can we make it? Okay. And the thing that amazes me is how on earth do the American people, tolerate this crap? All right? Tolerate this crap from their elected officials. All right? They're elected officials.
But they're not elected. They're selected with a big S in front. They're selected. See, this is what I don't understand, Greg. I could actually unplug political discussion in less than 30 seconds because they all know about 9/11. They all know how corrupt their government is. They all know about the allegiance to Israel. It's like, if you know and you don't expose like we are, then you're complicit. It's end of story. So
you got it. And by the way, folks, yes, as I told you on this show, you do remember this show about the Koreans, right, Luca? I said, hey, they have 4 ICBMs in the barn, okay, that they can use.
Right.
2 of them, unless by some miracle they can be fixed up and made ready to fire. Yes, they're going to sit in the barn. They're still in the barn, okay, still in their silos. They never will fire, okay? They're the most expensive doorstops you can ever hope to find, okay? Last week, what did we have? Great big long dong missile, okay, the KN-17 or whatever it's called, okay, Chinese built, by the way. With the the Clintons are back. Guess where the telemetry came to launch those? Okay, it's the Clintons. Want to bet? Anybody out there want to bet? Okay, hey, I'll bet all the money that the Clintons take in 1 month from their ill-gotten gains, okay, their criminal behavior activity, which is millions. I'll bet that, okay, that those missiles are being launched with Clinton telemetry, okay?
Yeah.
And that was last week. This week, hey, did anybody figure out where that thing came down? They fired it up there. I haven't heard a word about where it came down, okay? But not to worry. Not to worry, all right? Because guess what? This week, as I said on your show, hey, they're going to knock this crap off, all this, CNN stuff. Okay,
Mm.
Pee Wee, he's already got enough weapons in his arsenal. He can do whatever he wants to do. Okay, and what do I hear this morning? Hey, all those October class, November class Oscars. Okay, those are submarines, and they're all putting to sea. Oh my goodness. Okay. Now it's not that tough for the SOSUS, okay, the underwater defense system, to pick those up. And they clatter and clunk like everything made in the former Soviet Union. The former workers' paradise is not known for their submarines. Okay. So what we have here, okay, now I don't know about that. Now that I think about it, okay, I think somebody ought to ask Bill or Hillary if they gave the underwater information intelligence systems on collection, okay, like listening, systems,
Mm-hmm.
if they gave those to the Chinese for a fee, of course, which makes it okay.
Mm-hmm.
Otherwise, if you did it for free for idealism, it would be treason. Okay,
Right.
but have you ever seen me, steer away from using the T word on your show, treason, Luca? No,
We don't use it
that's
enough.
what they call this. That's what they call it. When a politician specifically sets up a 9/11 attack, okay, and then proceeds to send somebody like Susan Landauer to prison over it, and when I come out and say, hey, we can't be torturing these people that are telling us about new attacks, all of a sudden I'm renditioned. I'm tortured. That's what we have here, folks. So guess what? All those boomers coming out of the pens in Pyongyang. Okay, guess what? They are armed to the teeth, and yes, they will go. They will show up on our shores. Okay, not right on our shores. Okay, but pretty close. Okay, and, like close enough. If I was on the deck of one of those Oscar class or November class, hey, I could hit the United States with a golf ball. Okay, from the foredeck. Okay, that's how close they're coming. All right, and they are coming. Please don't believe me. They are coming. Okay, what do you think we're going to do if one of those surfaces right off the shore? You think we're going to trust somebody, like a self-serving Stalinist, act alike and look alike like Donald Trump, okay, to do something about it? No. Whoops. Goodness.
Yeah. On the
See?
show.
Somebody's responding. Okay. So, what that means is basically, folks, is we have, and if you don't think, by the way, Donald Trump is a Stalinist fan and an exact carbon copy in the White House, read the book by Simon Montefiore called Stalin. Okay, it even includes all the monkey business that's going on right now. When one country calls me, when one country calls me, okay, and says what is going on, okay, that's what I tell them. Hey, the Stalin fan club that's taking over in America, okay, is doing exactly that. First thing you have to do is compromise your own politicians, your own military people, and set up a victimized group like the LGBTs, okay, and the Hispanics, or the blacks are going to get theirs, by the way. The African Americans, they're going to get theirs from Donald Trump. Believe me, okay.
Yeah.
If you don't think so, look at the effectiveness of Black Lives Matter. Everybody that belongs to Black Lives Matter, you're a terrorist. If you didn't know this, you're a terrorist, and you're registered. All right, you're registered. Go hop on an airplane and see what happens. Okay,
right.
You're a terrorist. All right,
and we can thank George Soros for that too, for the money that he invested in that, just to get us fighting.
Absolutely. So yes, we have this whole issue coming down on our heads, on America's heads. Okay, you don't matter, by the way, according to Donald Trump. All right, he will not make a decision That doesn't make him a lot of money. Okay. He is going to put this Russian business to bed because he wants to get back to that pipeline, as I've told you on this show. The only place I've seen that, okay, issue about the pipeline coming from Russia to America is me telling you on your show, okay, Luca, and your fans. That's what we have going on here, okay? Yes, Donald Trump is going to set up a Stalinist workers' paradise out of our government. Oh, no, that can't happen, right? Not Donald Trump. He's one of our leading capitalists. Guess what? He's eating the White House up right now, and looking around for a snack. All right? Can anybody call this last week anything but a carnivalistic round of insanity? Okay? Well, if you think it is, go ahead and check out Simon Montefiore, Stalin. That's what Stalinists do. They get everybody fighting in-house, and then they start their wars. Yeah, I didn't say he's not going to start a war. Oh, yes, he's going to start a war. He's got about as much militaristic experience, okay, as Stalin did. Stalin didn't have any, but funny thing, Stalin built up his intelligence services, didn't he? Okay. What do you think Trump is doing? You think he's cutting them apart, tearing them up? No, he's not. Okay. He's building them up. Every single person in America is watched, monitored, cataloged, and yes, we have our gulag. We have a gulag now called FEMA. All right? Don't believe me? Check it out. I ask everybody not to believe me. Please check it out. Okay? We have FEMA, a.k.a. the gulag. Guess who's going to be in it, Luca? Guess who's going to be in it, Jesse Ventura? Guess it goes on and on. Guess who's going to be in it, Senator Graham? Okay, Bob Graham. Okay, yes, there are a few good people left. All right. Yeah, guess who's going to be in it, Trey Gowdy? Okay. So that's what we have here. That's what we have going on right now. Okay. And I just got word from something. Okay. The Mosquito Coast, Nicaragua. Guess how many thousands of Russian troops are there now? Quietly, secretly in old Nicaragua. Okay. Yes. Well, guess what? You better reposition those satellites, folks, that you have been told, because we've got several thousand troops in Nicaragua. How did they get there? That's another big mystery. Well, if you want to find out what's going on in America and going on elsewhere, like the submarines in the North Korean submarines in the Pacific headed our way, just what do you recommend, Luca? Have them call you to find out?
Listen to the show.
Don't call the CNN, okay? Hey, they're looking for goodies from Bahrain and Qatar and places like that. To have them say the right thing. You think our Department of Defense is going to say anything? They're too busy getting things embedded for the next 50 years. Okay, they don't care about America. Groups like the Department of Defense, they don't have nations. All right, they're nationless entities. Guess what? They will send your children, your loved ones, all right, your sons, daughters, fathers, mothers, they will send them to war in a second, and they will send them into a radioactive garbage disposal, like northern Kuwait, like eastern Iraq, okay, to make those no-go zones. And do you think they're not going to let that oil? You think they're going to let that oil sit underground and not get accessed? Okay. You can't walk on the surface because it's too radioactive. Okay. Gee, that was pretty convenient, wasn't it? No-go zones in Iraq that are too radioactive, but they can access that oil from underneath the ground. Called slant drilling, folks, using GPS. Okay, there we have it. So the government just sacrificed your loved one over the last 15 years. 15 to 20,000 Americans have died. Oh, that's not what the official numbers say, right? They say something like, what was it? First it was 3,000, and then I kept irritating them. So they finally admitted it, and they said 12,000. 12,000 have died in Iraq and Afghanistan. And if you think that's even got to slow them down one little second, hey, what was it last week, Luca? Last week, the Department of Defense said, we don't care. They're expendable. And we're going to increase the number of radiation on the Earth.
Of
So,
DUs,
hey,
yeah.
you want news? Okay, did we have anything prepared today? No, just this, just what we heard. Okay, yeah, we are entering a war because, hey, it's a great, big, profitable moneymaker. Okay.
For everybody else but us.
Have you seen Hillary Clinton? Have you seen any of the Bushes in prison? Oh, why would we send those kinder, gentler people into prison? Okay. No, they're too busy making lots and lots of money. All right.
Right.
So that's what I have today. All right. Nothing prepared. That's what I have.
Well, we're going to come back to you in 2 more days with another edition of Global News Update. We are at the end of it, and we don't even have to prepare anything most of the time because it just comes in our lap. Because we see people like Greg know when you know the past, you know the trajectory that the past has, you know what's going on today, you can pretty well draw a line to the future. It's not about, it's not about prophecy. It's not about being prophetic and being able to read the future. It's common sense. So, Greg, thank you so much for being on the show again. Thank you for your wisdom.
Always remember, Luca, I'll add this as a closing note. I was a real intelligence analyst, not some talking head, not some half-wit, that's trying to make a few bucks, okay, like the internet seems to be full of now, okay? Hey, I was a education trained, school trained, worldly experience trained intelligence analyst, analyzing all the armies of the world, the militaries of the world, who could do what, when they could do it, and how their intelligence services operated. And then I briefed our own people, your brothers and sisters out there doing the good war, doing the good fight. And believe me, not like George Tenet, who said he was so upset about 9/11. Yeah, right. We'll talk to Susan Lindauer on Sunday morning and see just how concerned he was, how concerned he was about me. Okay, but the thing is I felt personally responsible for everybody I sent into war. All right, and when somebody died, I felt that I didn't do my job correctly. Okay. And it wasn't until Iraq that I felt I was doing my job correctly, and I was strapped to a stretcher and tortured on a stretcher and flown covertly out of a war zone, okay? Because I found weapons of mass destruction, and I also reported torture, okay?
Yeah.
All the things that we said weren't supposed to be in Iraq, they were there. So yes, I am personally speaking for the safety of everyone who listens to this show and their loved ones. All right. There's why I just stated. All right. I was trained for 3 decades to do exactly what I'm doing now. All right. That's why I feel a responsibility.
See, and this is exactly why you are one of the biggest threats against the government right now, because they trained you so well, and because you're so angry right now because you know what's going on. So we can't keep going because we're at the end of the show, but we'll talk again about this on the next show. Thank you, Greg. Have a good day.
My pleasure. All right. Yatta.